Welcome everyone to 2023 Med Japan keynote speech. The keynote speaker is Mr. Hiroshi Tasaka. Mr. Tasaka was a founding member of Japan Research Institute in 1990. As an entrepreneur himself, he brought about a lot of social reforms in Japan. And then he became a professor of the Graduate School of Tama University and also the representative of a think tank, Sophia Bank. He developed a lot of social entrepreneurs and contributed to the social reforms that way. And now he is the president of the Academia, the 21st Century. We are very excited to learn what this wise man has got to say and find out what's on his mind and what's ahead. So let's sit up and be all ears. The title of his speech is Where the 21st Century Education is Heading. So please welcome Mr. Hiroshi Tasaka. Thank you so much for your kind introduction. As you can see, the title of my speech is Where the 21st Century Education is Heading. And I'm very humbled and very grateful to be a keynote speaker. But when we think about the coming age, we cannot do so without thinking about the matter of education. Mr. Takeshi Okada is here with us today. He made a new school, high school called FC Imabari High School. He is also someone who is working on educational reforms in Japan. And as for me, I have never thought about it. I think it was my destiny. But at the age of 72, I have assumed a role of the president of a new school. But you never know what happens in your life. Sometimes you don't know where the life takes you. Some of you may know that my school has 18 locations nationwide where 10,000 students learn and about 2,000 teachers and staff work every day. And this Academia, the 21st Century, and I'm the president of this school, and that's why I chose this topic for my speech. So I want to dive right in. There are many different angles that you can dissect the topic of education, but I want to talk about this topic from practical viewpoint today, especially what are going to be the requirements of human capital in the coming age in relation to the social changes. Education could be a very profound philosophical topic. But today, we should discuss very seriously what kind of human capital needs to be developed as workforce. I have discussed a lot about this topic in my book as well. And I think that Japan is very much behind the rest of the world in recognizing this issue. As a long-time Davos member, I think I know some of the global discussion that is happening regarding the future of education. But what I'm afraid to say that Japan has been stuck in the old educational system and maybe lagging behind the front runner of the world. there is a revolution that has been happening very rapidly in the developed countries. That's called the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And because of the pandemic, we tend to forget about this revolution that has been going on for a while, regardless of the pandemic. I don't want to discuss too much about the technical side of it today, but there are so many emerging technologies like robotics, AI, autonomous driving, drone, 3D printing, etc., etc. So many new technologies have been changing the society very rapidly. As a result of this, what's going to happen in the developed nations is a massive unemployment. We have already started to see a lot of headlines in the magazines and newspaper articles regarding this issue. Many intellectual workers started to lose jobs in the developed countries. And we haven't seen it as much in Japan yet because Japan has a higher social inertia. But when I say unemployment, of course, manual labor will be replaced by robots. But I want to talk more about AI now. Today. This is going to be a big threat in the labor market. I think everybody already knows it. The intellectual workers, especially, and some of you may be doing this job, but there are legal and financial practitioners like attorneys, accountants, tax accountants, and judicial scriveners. And it's said that 50% of their jobs will be gone. You might have hired judicial scriveners, and you know how expensive their service is because they have the legal knowledge that you don't have. But this job will be replaced by AI, so there will be discount competition among those people soon. Many years ago, one of the tax accountants of Tokyo Tax Accountant Association came to me to ask a question about this advent of AI. He wanted to know how to address this issue because he had a very high sense of crisis. I don't worry too much about this particular person because he already has a very high sense of crisis, but those who do not have the sense of crisis will suffer first. And the same thing can be said for bankers. Working in banks used to be a good job. They are well paid. They were one of the dream jobs among white-collar workers. They enjoyed a relatively high social status, but many of their jobs will be gone as well. No offense at all, but at the bank, I look at those people working there, and I feel that half of their positions will be gone soon. And same thing can be said for people working in the accounting department and financing department. And of course, I hate to start my speech in a negative tone like this. I don't want to evoke too much sense of crisis unnecessarily, but this is a reality we should face. And there has always been a definition of competent labor force, but that will change a lot. There will be a big paradigm shift. But having said that, and this is going to be my own perspective, but when I said this, when I talk about this technological revolution, people might have a fear that that will push us out of the labor market. But that's not my point. About a question whether this technology will make the humanity jobless. My answer is no, as I said in many of my books. I think many of you, especially who are here today, agree with me, but this technological revolution is the revolution that will elevate our competency. I give you a better example. If you are one of those people who feel despair about the advent of AI revolution, you might actually lose your job. But the opposite type of person will flourish. If you feel excitement or if you embrace the advent of AI, you will be very successful because you can dump routine jobs on AI and you can focus more on a higher level job. And when I said that the people who are working in the accounting department and the finance department will face the unemployment, that doesn't mean that they get fired because of the AI per se. Creating spreadsheets or things like that will go to AI, of course, but they can take that as a good opportunity and do a higher level work, such as creating financial strategies and making balance sheet analysis. So how you perceive and react to this revolution will actually determine how successful you will be in the age of AI. Let me repeat. So this is a revolution that will elevate our competency. And especially this technological revolution or information technology is an accelerator of the evolution of consciousness. This is my firm stance. This is my conviction. But however, I also have to admit that there will be an issue of unemployment. So, in this age, what kind of high competency is going to be required from us? I think you are here to find out this answer, having listened to my speech so far. So I want to jump right in. And actually, I published this book. So if you have read this book, what I'm going to talk about is a recap of what I have written in this book. But if you haven't read this book, I will give you the gist of the book.